I asked AI to validate my experience of emotional abuse. Prompt 4. The ex-partner continues a one-sided verbal onslaught which makes her uncomfortable. He has rejected her proposal and has shut down her side of the discussion, and then he tells her, "You haven't considered me and what I want, because you know that's not generally what you do. Now I'm telling you what I want. I want it over and done with. If we can stay friends, let's stay friends. But I want it over and done with." He then raises his voice to tell her, "It's a terribly, terribly, terribly bad idea, and it's not going to happen." He is referring to her idea in her financial proposal that he is not willing to discuss. Can this be considered emotional and psychological abuse of a former partner? AI reply, yes. The behavior described in the scenario can indeed be considered emotional and psychological abuse of a former partner. Here's why. Invalidation and dismissal. The ex-partner repeatedly dismisses the woman's concerns and proposals, invalidating her perspective and refusing to engage in meaningful dialogue. By shutting down her side of the discussion and refusing to consider her ideas, he undermines her sense of worth and agency. Manipulation and control. The ex-partner attempts to manipulate the woman by framing her reluctance to agree with his demands as a character flaw, suggesting that she's not accustomed to considering his needs. This manipulative tactic is aimed at making her feel guilty and compliant, reinforcing his control over the situation. Verbal aggression. Raising his voice and using language like terribly, terribly, terribly bad idea constitutes verbal aggression, which can be deeply intimidating and emotionally damaging. This kind of behavior is intended to instill fear and compliance in the woman, further asserting his power and control over her. Refusal to compromise. By refusing to entertain any discussion or negotiation regarding the financial proposal and insisting that he wants everything over and done with, the ex-partner demonstrates a lack of willingness to compromise or consider the woman's needs and concerns. This refusal to engage in a constructive dialogue maintains a dynamic of control and domination. Overall, the ex-partner's behavior in the scenario reflects patterns of emotional manipulation, control, verbal aggression, all of which are characteristic of emotional and psychological abuse in a former partner relationship. The woman needs to recognize these red flags and prioritize her well-being. She needs to seek support and possibly set boundaries to protect herself from further harm. My take. When seeking legal advice, do not be fobbed off by professionals who are unable to offer validation and or legal representation. I wish I had known more when I was first seeking legal advice. They are meant to be helping you. When a solicitor says, "It's very difficult to prove emotional and psychological abuse," it's a cop-out. I self-published my story under a pen name, Lauren Keeling, to raise awareness of hidden forms of abuse. What Type of Man? Find it on Amazon and digital bookstores.